I heard that Chinese food in China is very different than Chinese food in the United States. And on the last day of my trip to Beijing, I learned just how different it really can be. We were on a quick 5-day tour and our guide had us on a strict sightseeing schedule from the Forbidden City to the Great Wall of China, and interspersed between the sites were the captive audience junkets to a jade factory, a silk factory, and a tea tasting. Each day, our tour included lunch and dinner, and eating only Chinese food at restaurants for lunch and dinner got old really quick. So on the day we rode rickshaws through a hutong neighborhood, we were delighted to have an authentic lunch in one of the residents' homes. It was whipped up by a whiz of a cook in one of the smallest kitchens I've ever seen. Fresh from the wok, it was the best meal we had on the whole trip. But I couldn't help but wonder if this was the extent of authentic Chinese cuisine. This meal was delicious, but it wasn't all that different than the Chinese food I've had in the United States. So when one of our fellow travelers told me about the night markets and Snack Street, I had to check it out. As you approach the snack stands along Wangfujing Street, they look like typical street food stands. Part of the fun is listening to the calls from the vendors to get your attention. At first glance, most of the snacks on a stick aren't too exotic. Shrimp, crawfish, I think that's a pupa, and squid. And then it gets a little more interesting as you go along. That's frog, right? The enormous spiders and scorpions on a stick are a little startling. But the offerings get even more interesting when you head down one of the side alleys off Wangfujing.
What do you think, Serge? What's going on?
This is pretty educational.
It's an eye-opener, huh?
This is where the locals snack. And this is where some food is pulverized into submission, and the rest are as fresh as if they had just been stuck on a skewer. In fact, these scorpions just were. That's why they're still moving. Gazing on this array of arachnids, a part of me thought I should really try something. But the other part of me that's a little arachnophobic was just trying really hard to keep cool and not freak out. And then while studying the still moving scorpions on a stick, a little girl and her two brothers made me realize just how much of a wuss I am. The scorpions didn't seem to scare them, but they still terrify me.
Is it good?